There's an old saying that goes, if you give someone a fish, you feed them for a day. If you teach someone to fish, you feed them for a lifetime. So what does that have to do with the next 50 years of EAP? Well, the question of how to structure and deliver EAP never seems to go away and will no doubt continue in the coming years. While EGAP is still delivered in many universities, the consensus seems to be that an ESAP approach and embedding EAP provision within the curriculum is optimal. But often this comes as a bolt-on. In other words, the EAP lecturer parachutes in and delivers a disciplinary specific intervention over the course of one or more module sessions. And that's good up to a point. But we have to face the flaws of this model. Due to resourcing, it's inconceivable that EAP lecturers could reach all students at the university, even though we all agree that all students would benefit from disciplinary literacy development. And despite our plethora of skills, we are of course not experts in all the disciplines and the discourse that makes them tick. So an obvious answer to this conundrum is for disciplinary lecturers to deliver students' disciplinary literacy development themselves. Why doesn't it work that way? There are, of course, many reasons. For example, disciplinary lecturers are often not aware of their own knowledge when it comes to disciplinary literacy. It's tacit knowledge. As a result, some struggle to articulate their values and expectations. Many don't have expertise in teaching disciplinary literacy. And while EAP lecturers do seek to collaborate with disciplinary lecturers, particularly in the needs analysis process, the relationship takes time to build and roles can be difficult and time-consuming to negotiate. But what if that changed over the next 50 years? And what if the EAP lecturer was the agent of that change? What if we could reach all students? So what if disciplinary literacy was taught by disciplinary specialists instead of us? What if the EAP lecturer could design and deliver tasks to make disciplinary lecturers' tacit knowledge of literacy more explicit for them? What if the EAP lecturer introduced concepts from genre pedagogy to provide lecturers with a framework and vocabulary to discuss disciplinary literacy with their students? What if, instead of working with the students, EAP lecturers worked with the disciplinary lecturers to design tasks drawing on techniques from genre pedagogy and using the disciplinary lecturer's knowledge and ideas as a starting point, facilitating the integration of disciplinary literacy development into the lecturer's practice? What if the EAP lecturer was also a staff developer, supporting lecturers to develop their teaching of disciplinary literacy within their own teaching practice? In other words, what if the huge amount of time EAP specialists spend on coordination, needs analysis, materials design and delivery could be spent working with disciplinary lecturers to promote disciplinary literacy development within the disciplines through a genre-based approach? What if the knowledge we accumulate of disciplinary discourse could be developed instead by the disciplinary lecturers themselves and then reside in the disciplines instead of with us?
So we are proposing that we teach the disciplinary lecturer to fish. And this is a model we've been developing and we've piloted with new lecturers on the PG DIP in academic practice at Sheffield Hallam University. And the stages are as follows. So we did 2 workshops with the lecturers. One of them was looking at metacognitive tasks to make tacit knowledge of disciplinary literacy explicit. And the second was a workshop on genre pedagogy. So after these 2 input sessions, we started off with a meeting with the lecturers, talking to them about their initial ideas and planning of how they were going to then teach their own students the disciplinary literacies that were needed. The lecturers then went away and they developed their own teaching materials. They came back and we had a meeting with them to develop them, to discuss them and refine them. And then after that, the lecturers went and delivered their sessions using the teaching materials that they had refined and delivered. Then Following the lesson, we met up with them for a third time to reflect on how the process had gone, how their lessons had gone, and what kind of things would be good to do next. So to conclude, over the next 50 years, perhaps the disciplinary lecturer will slowly take over responsibility for their students' disciplinary literacy development. And our role as EAP specialists will be to support and develop the lecturers in a staff development role. Writing is increasingly used for assessment in higher education, and its effectiveness as a means of learning disciplinary knowledge depends in large part on the disciplinary lecturer's beliefs about literacy. As EAP scholars, we may have more impact if we work on scaffolding and changing these beliefs rather than teaching disciplinary literacy ourselves. So thank you very much, and we look forward to your questions.